everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Tech Insights for Visionaries. I'm Maddie, and in this podcast series, we talk about the latest technological trends and how they can affect our businesses. Whether you're a business, tech enthusiast, or just someone who's curious, technology can have a profound impact on our society. This podcast is produced by a team of software engineers from MobiDev, a US and Ukraine software engineering company focused on helping visionaries create their products. The company invests into technology research and has years of experience building AI-powered solutions, web and mobile platforms, implementing augmented reality and IoT technologies. Feel free to reach MobiDev to create your next product.
Hi everyone, Sean here. As many experienced business owners are aware, developing modern software applications is an essential undertaking for any growing business. Thanks to many advancements over the past few years, there are a ton of options to choose from when building your services backend. However, because there are so many options to choose from, it can be pretty overwhelming.
What's your approach when choosing a technology stack for your next software product?
Great question. It's important to choose the right stack for your business, based on your objectives and priorities. Everything else aside, core features and product evolution plan have to be taken into account. One popular technology used around the world is Node.js. This modern framework is used across many industries. As a popular option for server-side application development, it's used by many companies such as Netflix, Uber, PayPal, Twitter, and more. Not only that, but its popularity is increasing exponentially. A 2021 survey by Stack Overflow showed that Node.js was ranked as the 6th most popular technology.
But what is Node.js? How does it work? And is it still relevant in today's technological and business landscape?
Those are some great questions. Let's briefly overview what Node.js is to help us understand why it's so important as a modern technology. Node.js seems a bit odd at first because it's a back-end application stack built from JavaScript, a front-end technology typically run on the client side. Node.js makes it possible to run JavaScript on the back-end, server-side portion of a web application architecture, as well as for serverless architecture. This is all done by executing its own runtime on the server. A good way to understand this is to consider the difference between Node.js and Java. Java also runs applications within its own runtime. The Node.js runtime is designed to be lightweight and efficient. It has a non-blocking I/O and a package manager to make building applications in the Node.js ecosystem even easier. The package manager for Node.js is called npm. Its purpose is to serve as an index of libraries built by the Node.js community of developers, which are easily shared and imported by other projects. These packages provide helpful solutions to common functions and code that simplify scaffolding new projects and improving old ones.
That sounds like a great foundation for a strong modern application stack. Since it's fast, efficient, and uses a very popular and well-known language to develop and run in, it can be a strong asset for anyone looking to make or update their back-end software.
That's right. There are a few different frameworks and approaches on the top of Node.js that a team can take, making it even more flexible than it already is. One of these is NestJS, an open-source, extensible, and versatile framework that incorporates TypeScript built on an abstraction of other Node.js frameworks like Express and Fastify. This makes it easy to learn and get up to speed with building projects. NestJS is built out of modules, providers, and controllers. Modules are the logical units of the code organized together. Every application must have at least one root module, but more can be built on top of that. Providers are abstractions of code that can be injected as dependencies. Controllers handle incoming requests from the client to perform application logic and return a response.
Seems like there is a lot of freedom and opportunity to organize projects into smaller pieces that make it easier to work on over time by developers.
Definitely. Next.js leverages the advantages of TypeScript and the benefits of other abstracted frameworks. It's easy to use and extensible, which makes it great for making applications around a microservice architecture. The framework provides a strict project structure and is great for working with teams of programmers. This helps reduce the bugginess of the development process. Another popular framework that could be used with Node.js is Electron, which you may have heard of from several popular desktop applications. Electron is designed for desktop using web technologies. This framework combines the Chromium rendering engine and the Node.js runtime to allow you to create desktop applications running with JavaScript.
Oh, I've heard of this one. Doesn't Slack use this?
Yes, Discord and Microsoft Teams are a few other desktop applications that use Electron. It simplifies the desktop application development process by allowing programmers to write these apps in platform-agnostic web languages, like HTML5 and CSS. It also makes the packaging and installation of these applications much easier.
That makes sense. That would make it much easier for developers to make cross-platform desktop applications.
Precisely. Electron is a great option when your business requires a desktop application without the complexity and redundancy of developing native applications for different platforms. The Electron framework's usage of web languages speeds up the development process and reduces the time to market for new products. However, there can be some downsides. Since Electron apps rely on the Chromium rendering engine, every Electron app is downloaded with a separate Chromium rendering engine, and much of the processing is centered on running Chromium. Even if you have Google Chrome and several Electron apps running at the same time on your computer, each one will use their own rendering engine. However, computers these days have been getting more powerful, so the efficiency may not be noticeable. This strategy has worked well for industry leaders like Microsoft, Slack, and Trello, so don't discount this option just yet.
That's fascinating. I can see why you may want to avoid developing with Electron if the machines you're targeting are fairly low spec. But for most machines, Electron ought to do just fine.
Other than NestJS and Electron, Deno is another framework. In 2018, the creator of Node.js created Deno to solve common Node.js problems, such as security, modules, and compatibility. Like Node.js, the Deno runtime executes code in its own application. However, Deno programs are more secure in that the runtime executes within a sandbox, isolated from the underlying file system. This adds security that prevents attackers from breaking out of the executable runtime and gaining access to the server the code is running on. Deno doesn't require a centralized package manager system, like Node.js's NPM. This is achieved by allowing modules to be imported directly by a URL and caching those modules in case the hosting URL is unavailable. Finally, Deno supports TypeScript and strives for enhanced browser compatibility. For these reasons, there are a number of companies who are already expressing interest in adopting Deno for their own use cases. However, keep in mind that it's not yet supported by major cloud providers, so Docker images should be used.
So, against alternatives, why should businesses choose Node.js?
Again, it's up to the business's needs. If you need an application stack that's flexible, efficient, and lends itself well to building small, fast, and scalable applications, Node.js can get the job done. This is especially true for real-time applications, like instant messaging and collaboration tools. Combined with the fast synchronization abilities of Node.js, also make it useful for event-based applications. A few examples include applications that use WebSockets and WebRTC.
Since it's small, fast, and scalable, wouldn't that lend itself well for serverless and microservice architectures?
Definitely. Because of its flexibility, Node.js is fantastic for building serverless and microservice-based applications. These design styles are both very popular for saving resources and efficiently managing application lifecycles. Serverless architecture is popular for its ability to save computing costs by only requiring the resources the application needs to run with no additional overhead. These applications are stateless and lightweight. There are NPM applications for serverless design. Building a serverless Node.js application also works well with an overall microservice architecture in C2C and B2C use cases when server load is volatile.
Speaking of microservices, what about the Internet of Things?
You got it. Node.js is very good at multitasking, which makes it a great choice for developing IoT solutions. Since IoT needs many devices sending small messages that need to be handled quickly, Node.js serves as a great backend for these kinds of applications. It provides serverless architecture and real-time communication support. Node.js is also great at handling asynchronous input and output when compared to other technologies. This means that it's a great choice for audio and video processing when combined with external media tools. This makes it a great choice for streaming setups. Perhaps most importantly, no matter what you're developing, Node.js reduces time to market significantly. Since it's built upon common web languages, new products can be built quickly and brought to market without delay. The amount of engineering resources required to do so is also reduced because of this.
We have a great case study here at MobiDev that serves as an example of how Node.js can help meet strict deadlines. The product was an online marketplace for clients and contractors specializing in repairing damage caused by hailstorms. We were faced with a short deadline and needed to finish the project before hail season started. We considered two options, PHP and Node.js. We chose Node.js and were able to finish the project in time. Another reason that we were able to reduce development time was by using isomorphic architecture.
Something else to note, Node.js can seamlessly integrate with existing C++ libraries. This is because the Node.js runtime is essentially built on a C++ server that runs on the host node. That allows Node.js to quickly transmit data between C++ and application code.
We've talked a lot about the benefits of Node.js, but how does this application stack up against other backend technologies?
That's a great question. Let's start by comparing Node.js to Java. This is a pretty common comparison because both tools run programs within their own runtime environment. However, that's where the similarities end. Java is a compiled, object-oriented programming language with syntax similar to C++. Java programs are typically large and costly to develop. In contrast, Node.js programs are lightweight and based on non-compiled web languages, like JavaScript. It's also much more suited for I/O applications and efficient server-side handling of HTTP requests. So even though Java and Node.js may share similarities in their runtime applications, their use cases are very different. Due to the event loop, Node.js is more efficient when operating with I/O applications, while Java's thread pool is more powerful for complex computations. However, we can leverage both as microservices in one project.
What about Python?
Python is revered for its simple syntax and easy-to-use nature. Because of that, it has grown very popular. However, Python is another object-oriented language like Java. Although it's interpreted, its programs can consume large amounts of computing resources. Python is useful in big projects for artificial intelligence and math-based simulations. These are areas that Node.js isn't as useful for. Python's libraries make it easier to build the application logic, but its architecture makes performance challenging and requires a highly skilled programmer to manage.
So we've talked about why Node.js is so useful, but when shouldn't we use it?
I'm glad you asked. There are a variety of reasons why you shouldn't choose Node.js for your business's project. For one, developing financial software is a no-go for this stack. Floating decimal points make working with finances very challenging due to the accumulation of errors in variables. There are tools that allow you to build logic with high-precision calculations, but all of them have drawbacks and must be used wisely. When we needed to create a financial management solution here at MobiDev, we chose to base it on Ruby. If you're making an application with complex CPU calculations, you probably shouldn't use Node. Node isn't recommended when you're dealing with highly loaded threads that involve a lot of processing power. A good example is when audio and video processing is written on the back end instead of using external processing tools. For example, FFmpeg, ImageMagick, or external libraries of C++ or Go. Now that we've given a pretty broad overview of Node.js, we can see that it has a great deal of uses that justifies its popularity in the market. Over 20 million websites use Node.js, and the technology certainly isn't going away anytime soon. The introduction of Deno as an alternative framework of Node.js will only expand its use cases as it improves security and browser compatibility. NestJS is also gaining traction due to its extensibility and modularity that make it flexible for growing applications. Scalability is a necessity in the modern market, and a widespread shift to application design with serverless systems and microservices supports that. These small, lightweight architectural styles are much different from the larger monolithic style of software engineering. Lightweight applications are cheaper and easier to build, and their reactiveness makes them ideal for real-time applications and IoT.
Phew, we talked about a lot today. That's a lot to go over to make sure you know which application stack to choose for a project.
Keep in mind, there are no good or bad technologies. It all depends on your objectives, needs, and resources. Node.js is a great option for a variety of tasks, but not in every situation.
If you are unsure of what application stack your project requires, it's always a good idea to ask. With our experience in web software development, we're a great option to consult to help you achieve your goals, whether you are trying to bring your system up to date or if you're creating something entirely new, we're here to help. All you have to do is reach out. Contact us by our email at contact@mobidev.biz.
Thank you for your listenership. If you'd like to catch more thought-provoking coverage about the latest technology developments driving industries forward around the world, be sure to subscribe to us and share your favorite episodes with your friends and colleagues. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you next time.
Take care.